This is the 2026 Nissan Rogue plug-in hybrid. Is it the perfect compact crossover plug-in hybrid? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. As we look here on the front end, you're going to find full LED lighting. That's going to include your LED headlights, low and high beams. We're going to have the LED daytime running lights. Over here we can show the LED turn signal indicator, the way that's all built in right here. And right down here, something that I know is a popular feature among many of you, the LED fog lights. The one thing I do wish was different here is you see where the brushed aluminum accents are here with this upper grille area? That should be illuminated, at least in my personal opinion. I think that would really set it off. But then again, someone might say, nah, I'm good without that. You can have your Nissan badge right here. And then as we work our way down, here is our grille area that is actually active. And then the lower area is going to be the same way as well. You're going to see your sensors here for all of your different driving aids. A lot of great safety features going on here. You're going to have your hill start assist, hill descent control, things that are going to be super useful. Something else that's useful is this model is going to be all-wheel drive. Now we're going to have our gloss black 20-inch alloy wheels. You can have your Nissan badging right here in the center. The one thing that is missing when it comes to your tire and wheel setup is that you don't have a spare tire. Not terribly unusual with any kind of a hybrid, whether it's a plug-in hybrid or not. You do have a tire repair kit. Turn signal indicators built into your side view mirrors. They're going to be heated. They're going to be power adjustable. Blind spot monitoring will be built in, and they're also going to be power folding. So something that I know checks off all the boxes for many of you. How about the key fob? Lock, unlock, remote start. You can open and close your power tailgate. You're also going to have that panic button located right down there at the bottom. And right here, if the battery in the key fob happens to die, you have a mechanical key that's going to go right here. Or if the battery in the vehicle dies for that matter, that way you know you can still get in and out, no problem. Lock and unlock whatever you need to do in that situation. Now there are a couple of things you won't see up here. It does give a clean look to the roof line. No roof rails for the crossbars and no sunroof. For me, the lack of a sunroof works. This area right here, notice you're not going to have your typical chrome look. I actually like the darker look that we have here. I think that works well against this black exterior color. Obviously the shark fin antenna is going to be up top. Working our way here to the rear, we're going to have the rear roof spoiler. You will have the exposed rear window wiper, but I know that's for most people not a big deal. It does clean things up when that's neatly tucked away inside of the rear roof spoiler, but in this case it's not. Once again, LED lighting with our tail lights. We're going to have that SL logo down there in that bottom right-hand corner of the tailgate, the Nissan logo in the center, or name. It's not actually a badge, it's actually spelled out. So something a little bit different compared to some other models out there. And we're going to also find more badging right here with the Rogue. You'll know what's going on there. Now, something that's definitely not unusual with any kind of a plug-in hybrid vehicle is the lack of exposed exhaust back here. It does give it a clean look. Some people like that, some people don't. Depends on what your personal preference is. And once again, all of those nice sensors are going to be here to help you out with those driving aids. Power to get your Rogue hybrid down the road comes from a combination of a 2.4-liter four-cylinder engine and dual electric motors. You're looking at 248 horsepower and 332 pounds-feet of torque. 0 to 60, about 7 seconds flat. Top speed will be about 106 miles per hour, and it will be mated to a single-speed transmission direct drive. How about your MPGs and MPGEs? With MPGEs, we're looking at 64 MPGEs and 52 kilowatt hours per every 100 miles driven, or on gasoline only, combined 26 miles per gallon, 3.8 gallons per every 100 miles driven. On electric only, you'll be able to drive 38 miles. To gain access to your gas tank, you're going to need to push the button that you see right there on the dash area. And when you push that button, it's going to pop open the gas door. Now, you don't actually have capless fuel fill right here. You have a gas cap to gain access to your 14.8 gallon gas tank. On a full tank of gas, you should be able to drive about 370 miles in the city and about 400 miles out on the highway. Now we'll work our way over here to the passenger side, because here is where your charge port is for the plug-in hybrid end of things. You're just going to pull right there, and that releases everything. You can open that up and take care of all of your charging needs. You can tow up to 1,500 pounds, not really rated for a very high amount of weight, but if you need to tow a little something, you can do that. Now, as far as gaining access to your cargo space back here, you've got the key fob. You can use the button there. You can use the button on the remote. There's a button right here above the license plate, or you can just kick your foot under the bumper. Just like that, you'll hear a couple of beeps, and the power tailgate opens right up. You'll gain access to your 12.8 up to 30.8 up to 64.7 cubic feet of cargo space. Now, let's talk about what else you're going to find back here. You see, you have your cargo area lighting over on that side. We're also going to have our 12-volt power outlet right here. Now, the easy way to lower your seats, we can pull on this release and down the seats go. We're going to have one on both sides. We'll get that other side down for you right there. Something that's very interesting here, you'll notice that you have the seat belts right here. I'm not even going to try and get back there because it is so small, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring this up just like this, and then you can pull on this release, bring these seat backs up, and these massive headrests are going to be here. But if you look right there into the interior, here is where the seats are. Now you can raise these seats up right here. I'm going to do that, and you can move them forward. You're still not going to have a whole lot of leg space back there. Kind of an interesting little thing. I'm not quite sure why that's here. It is. What do you think about that? Very little space. Now let me show you how to get that back in place. We're first going to come right here. We're going to lower the headrests with the releases right there. And then we're going to pull right here, and then we're going to pull on this one and bring everything back just like this. It all folds down into place, but kind of a very interesting little setup with a 3-row SUV. All right, let's talk about what your backseat passengers are going to find. Even though you have that 3rd row back there, there's just not much there. Door panel, let's talk about what you have where that's concerned. Now there is a nice amount of padding with the armrest. That's going to be nice and comfortable. You've got your white contrast stitching and your door bin down here, really more of a bottle holder than a door bin, but it's going to get the job done for you as far as that goes. Now we're going to have the release right here. Pull on that. You can lower this area down. You've got the fold down armrest with the cup holders built in. My favorite design. I think Nissan hit it really well where that's concerned, nailed it. Most vehicles have the parallel cup holders right here. So when you put a bottle in one or the other, you lose a lot of space because that takes up space where it can't be used as an armrest. This way, it's a usable armrest no matter what the situation is. And one more thing, let me hop back out here. You may already be able to see it, but I'm going to use the release on the side of the seat to put the seats back. You can see that that will recline quite a bit depending on where your passengers want everything to be. For storage, we're actually going to have a little bit of space right here and another pocket right here. Also, the much larger traditional map pocket, as it's known, on the rear of the seats, on the driver and the passenger sides. All those are there on both sides. And you're going to have your air conditioning vents right here, a little bit of storage space, and some USB connectivity down below. The sticker price is $48,435, still under the national average as of April of 2026, which is $50,000 for a new vehicle. Now, I'm going to let you see what goes on here on the driver's display as I hit the button. You can listen. You can see your animated graphics and some of the sounds that you get here as far as all of that goes. Now, let's take a look at our upper console. We're going to find a sunglass holder right here. I'm going to have my sunglasses in there. You're going to have your lights, nothing out of the ordinary. What do you think about this light setup? I'm curious to know. And you can see what else we have here. Not a whole lot to talk about where that is concerned, but you can look across the dash area and see the design that we have. We'll work our way all the way across. See our air conditioning vents, all of that's going to be here. And then the glove box. Let's take a quick look at the glove box just so you can see. Nothing out of the ordinary, but if I don't show it, somebody's going to ask about it. The driver's side and passenger side door panels do feature a larger armrest and larger door bend compared to what we saw in the rear. The driver's seat is power adjustable with lumbar support, but the passenger seat is manually adjustable. Here's the button I used to fold and unfold the power side view mirrors. That will actually also happen when you lock and unlock the vehicle. We're going to have our lock and unlock buttons here, everything for choosing which side of the side view mirrors we're working with to adjust right there. And then we're going to have one touch down, one touch up at all 4 doors. Not something you might have expected. And you saw a little bit of what is here earlier with some of our buttons right here, including the button to open and close the power tailgate. Right here, you drop that release like that, you can adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. Cruise control will be right here, and then everything for the radio and different things like that will be here as well. We can go through with that dial that you see, or should I say scroll wheel, and go through some different information. We can also use our arrow keys or buttons to go through and take a look at our different settings that we have, just so you can see what's going on here. In case you need to know where everything is, you can push on that scroll wheel and go in and actually see the different settings you might need to do with lighting, locking, all of that good stuff. You can see how to set everything up as far as that goes. Nice and easy to do. If you want to turn some of this on and off, this is where you're going to come to do it. Just to show you a few of the different features that are here, some of the different options, depending on what you may wish to know about or control. Everything for your audio will be right there. Your speed limit sign recognition is going to be there, and we're back to the place where we started. Now, we're going to have a nice comfortable steering wheel, front and rear window wiper control right there, and then everything for your headlights, your fog lights, and your turn signal indicators will also be there. And on the end of that is going to be the button right there. When you push that, it turns on your auto high beams. And now we'll make our way over to the center screen. So a very nice screen. The thing that I think a lot of people are going to like here is that it's not an overload of information. You can see that you have your built-in information for weather. All of that's going to be here. Going to give you some good details on that. We can come right here and go back, and then you can go to phone. You can see what all is here, info, audio, all of that's going to be right here. There's your built-in navigation, something that I know a lot of you like to know about. We can zoom in or zoom out depending on what we need to do with everything as far as that goes, just to show you what's going on. We can also go into settings, and once again, not an overload here. I like that you can just come in and go right to whatever you need to. You're going to have your different options as far as that goes. We can go in here and adjust the clock as well, just like we could on the driver's display. And then we can come over here and see what else we have. So you're going to have 2 pages worth, and you'll notice that you have a camera right there. Right here is the button that also says camera. So here's what happens. When you bring that up, here is one of your views. Here's another view. You actually have a few different views. You can cycle through that by simply pushing that button. And that's not the only way you can do that. You can also do that by obviously going into reverse. Now we'll have everything for controlling our volume and what we're listening to right here. You can see some of the other controls here as far as audio goes, what you're listening to. You can brighten or dim depending on what you want to do with this button. And then you've got audio right there. You've got menu. If you want to get back to this screen, you can do that. You can hit map. That's going to bring map up right there. Nice to have the physical controls. We also have our back button right there if we need to go back. Below that, we're going to have the button right here to turn the engine on and off. That's why it says power, hazard lights, and our dual zone climate control. So you're going to have those 2 zones here in the front that also control the air conditioning for the rear area as well. We can adjust our fan speed, temperature. You can sync that together if you want to. You're also going to have your buttons on the outside right here for your 3 stages of heated seats. So if you want to turn that on and off, you can do that. Wireless charging pad is going to be here in addition to a couple of USB options, and right there, the 12-volt power outlet. And depending on what you need to do, you can push your buttons right here for your different modes. And there's actually quite a few different things you can do with your driving modes. And real quick, I'm going to go into reverse with the shifter right here. There's a button over here on the left-hand side. You just push on that. We move that forward, and that brings up the rear view camera. As you can see, you're still going to have that overhead view that we saw earlier. We do the same thing to go into drive if we want to do that. And then we can push park or P to go into park. Your power parking brake is here. So is your auto hold for your brakes. And then we're going to go up here to the driver's display, and I'm going to show you the graphics that come up with the different driving modes. I'm actually very impressed with the quality of these graphics. I think Nissan did a very good job where that is concerned with the different driving modes and the corresponding graphics that go with that. We'll run all the way through there. And then I'm going to stay on that screen for just a second here. We're going to push our buttons for our different modes with the other buttons as far as EV goes. And then you have a few different EV mode setups right here, as you can see. So you're going to have save, you're going to have charge, you're going to have auto. You can take advantage of all of that depending on your needs or desires. Our cup holders will be down here. I do like the lack of a ton of gloss black plastic. We have a little bit of that right here, so don't play the piano on that. The center console lid doubles as an armrest, and other than some space within, that's about all we have where that area is concerned. By the way, you can wirelessly pair your smartphone. You do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and here is an audio sampling of the stereo. Hopefully that gives you a good idea. It actually sounds really good, surprisingly good for the price point. All right, here we go with our test drive. Now, by no means is this Rogue plug-in hybrid a hot rod, but it will get down the road. It will do okay and get you where you need to go and get up to speed just fine. It seems to have a nice, comfortable ride quality and seems to be very responsive to the touch of my foot as far as the gas or power pedal goes, depending on what driving mode you're using. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, for those of you that are wanting to use get the most bang for the buck, so to speak, with the EV driving experience here, you can drive, it says up to 38 miles. That's not guaranteed, depending on the situation, where you're driving, how you drive, stop and go, all that kind of stuff. It's going to determine how that works and how much you really do or don't get to use. So you may be a little bit above that number. You might be below. It may vary some from one day to the next. It just depends, but one way or another, it's going to do just fine for you, get you down the road. Plenty of room in the first and second rows. I'm still questioning that third row back there. That's very interesting, but one way or another, it is back there. So a little bit of extra space, depending on who needs to sit back there. Now we're going to wait for this traffic to clear so we can safely make our legal U-turn. And I have no doubt we're going to have a good, tight turning radius. That's not going to be an issue whatsoever. Now we're going to find out about our acceleration as we cruise on down the road. I'm going to get on it just a little bit here so I stay ahead of the traffic coming behind us. A couple of vehicles, not a problem at all. Not neck snapping performance, but that's okay. It's going to do what you need it to do. It will get you up to speed when you're merging into fast-moving traffic, things like that, going around the slower-moving vehicles. Whatever you're doing, it's going to be just fine. Everything is easy to get to. I like that. That works out nicely. Technology is not difficult to learn or use, and a lot of adjustability built in to the driver's area between the driver's seat and the steering wheel. So everybody should be able to set things up so they can be comfortable, be able to see just fine, not going to have any issues whatsoever. You do get quite a bit for the money here, especially considering the fact that it still comes in a little bit under the national average as far as currently being about $50,000 is the average in the United States as far as the average price of a new vehicle. And there it is, the 2026 Nissan Rogue SL plug-in hybrid. Is it the perfect compact crossover plug-in hybrid SUV? Tell me what you think down in the comments section. And there's only one other trim level available beyond this SL, which is going to be the Platinum. We'll try and bring that to you when we can. I'd like to say a special thanks to our friends at Nissan in Shreveport, Louisiana for loaning us this Rogue for the day so we could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give us the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. That's very helpful and appreciated. Make sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out one of the videos that's on the screen right now, and we'll see you there.